Hi, I'm Michael J. Ward, and I'm the author of the DestinyQuest series of game books. I thought I'd put together this little video primarily for new readers who are discovering DestinyQuest for the first time, but also potentially for returning readers who may just be curious as to how the series has developed. So let's just dive straight in. First off, and most importantly, DestinyQuest is a series of game books. So if you're unfamiliar with that genre, then they're essentially choose-your-own-adventure books where you, as a reader, get to make the choices for the main character, and you're essentially picking your path through the story. What makes the DestinyQuest series special is that, as well as those choices you make for your hero, the books also have a dynamic quest and combat system, which has been heavily inspired by computer RPGs that I love, such as World of Warcraft, Diablo, Dark Souls. So really, each book is kind of like a solo role-playing campaign stroke dungeon crawler, where you are developing and powering up your hero throughout the course of the adventure. You're gaining loot and you're finding weapons, and you're just growing in power and aiming to complete the challenges that are set against you. So let's just dive straight into the books. Here we have books 1 to 3 of the DestinyQuest series. Now, I call this my legacy trilogy. I use the term trilogy because there is an overarching kind of background narrative that ties them together. However, each book is its own standalone adventure in which you take control of a different hero in each book. Therefore, you don't necessarily have to start with The Legion of Shadow. You can jump in with whatever title takes your fancy. And yes, you might have heard that book 1 is a bit of a tough cookie. So if you want a more gentle introduction, then I'd advise Heart of Fire or even Eye of Winter's Fury. Now, moving on, we have the Sands of Time trilogy. This set of books includes The Raiders of Dune Sea and The Wrath of Ragnarok, with the final book in the trilogy, The Edge of Time, coming in the future, I promise. From a time-wise standpoint, the events in these books take place after the original trilogy, but you don't have to have read those in order to dive into this one. One important thing to note, though, is that this is indeed a trilogy in the traditional sense. What I mean by that is that Raiders of Dune Sea is the first book, and when you complete it, you carry over your hero into the Wrath of Ragnarok. So these books should be played sequentially. It's also important to mention that there is the World Companion. This is a kind of standalone campaign book that features loads of background information on the world of Dormus, which is the setting for DestinyQuest. It features a history of the world. It talks about its religion and its mythologies. It delves into the main factions, and it also has a illustrated atlas section. Plus, there's also short stories which explore some of the kind of key individuals that appear in the books and play a significant role in the DestinyQuest world. So, how does DestinyQuest play? Well, each book is divided up into acts, and each act has its own map. The map displays various icons that essentially structure your journey through the content. So there are quests which are color-coded by difficulty. There are towns and villages that you can sort of visit and explore in between your adventuring. And there are also legendary monsters, which are your kind of tougher adversaries that you can pit your hero against in an effort to try and gain those more powerful items and rewards. Each act also has its own boss monster encounter, which is essentially your kind of end-of-level boss. So if you defeat them, then you kind of progress then into the next act and the next map, or you complete the story. So in each book, there are 3 main hero paths to choose from for your hero. There's the warrior, who's essentially a master of weapons and armor, the mage, who's a kind of damage dealer and healer, and then you've got your rogue, who's your kind of sneaky, deadly master of poisons and evasion. Each one of those paths, you also get the opportunity to further specialise into different careers. So as a rogue, you could then actually specialise into becoming a kind of dual-wielding sword master, or you could become an assassin, which focuses more on poisons, or become like a witch finder that combines some kind of like magic with flintlock pistols. There's a lot of like stuff you can do to add flavour to your hero. Each hero has 4 main stats. The primary and probably the most important stat in all of the books is speed. And it's important because this is what helps you to win combat rounds and deliver damage to your opponents. Then there is brawn, which is a measure of strength, and there's magic, which is a measure of your arcane ability. You will focus on one of these throughout your adventure, depending on the path you have chosen. The final stat is armour, which is always helpful to have, as you get to deduct your armour total from any incoming damage, reducing it, helping you stay alive, hopefully a little bit longer. Now, what's interesting is you start the game with a 0 in all of those stats. So in DestinyQuest, you actually level up through your equipment. So as you progress through the book, you equip items onto your hero sheet as you would in a computer RPG, with each piece of equipment kind of filling one slot or location. Items have stats that help grow your attributes. So as we mentioned before, that would be like speed, brawn, armour, etc. But they also have special abilities too, which are kind of the bread and butter of the customization process of DestinyQuest. So special abilities, there's different categories and effects. And I think part of the joy and addiction of the system is how you choose to min-max your hero, to create powerful combinations of abilities and to craft your own unique build. And you'll need those abilities because the monsters don't take lightly to pesky adventurers. Each monster in the book has its own AI. So basically, its own set of abilities and behaviour mechanics that can drastically change the challenge and feel of each opponent you face. So it is up to you how you decide when and how to use your abilities to, exploit a monster's strengths and weaknesses. So, in essence, DestinyQuest is designed from the ground up to be a kind of solo dungeon crawler in the traditional sense, with a focus on combat, leveling up your hero, and rolling lots and lots of dice. That said, I do want to give a bit of a shout out to my new book that's coming out in June 2024, this year. It's a standalone spin-off book called DestinyQuest Raiders: Ties of Terror. This book is set in the same world as DestinyQuest, but you don't have to have read any of the previous titles to jump into this one. What makes this book special is that it introduces a diceless combat system, so the entire book can be played with just a pencil and an eraser. So it's a good book if you want a potentially lighter experience or something you can play whilst on the move. I'll leave a link in the description below to a how to play video, so that if you want to learn a bit more about that specific combat system, then you can do. There's also the combat pad, which accompanies Ties of Terror. Basically, this contains kind of multiple copies of all the sheets you would need to mark with your pencil, because I know some people don't like to, mark their main book. They like to keep it pristine. So as well as that, you've got the combat pad also has like a strategy guide, and other bonus content such as extra special achievements and a gallery of artwork. So that's it. That's the current series. I do hope I've given a good overview of the main series and my spin-off series. I hope that you jump in, give one of them a try, and I look forward to welcoming you to the world of Destiny Quest. So thank you for listening and happy adventuring.